Hey, AfterBuzzers! Thanks for tuning in after a week off for Season 3 of Scorpion. We have 2 episodes to cover. Veronica died. What kind of? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes. You can never go wrong with a little biggie, you know? No matter where, no matter the situation.
No matter the time or era.
No matter. It doesn't matter. If you're not feeling good, put a little bit of biggie on. It might make you feel a lot better, like right now. Yes. And then honestly, if we didn't have 2 episodes to cover, I'd be like, let's listen to this entire song. Yeah. But probably not today. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV's Scorpion. We are covering 2 episodes tonight, 13 and 14. The song we're playing is because of the name of episode 13, Fox Money, Monk's Problems.
Faux money, mo problems.
That's faux money.
Like that.
That's the way she said it. I guess it's a little better than the way I read it. That's fine. That's fine, guys. Welcome. I'm so excited. I'm Monse Bolanos here to talk about it. Across from me, Susannah Kim.
Hi, guys. You guys can find me at Susannah_Kim. It's SUSANNAH_KIM. You guys, today is Monse's birthday. Happy birthday, Monse.
It's not.
She's 12 years old today.
I am. That is so true.
She's a whopping 12-year-old.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks.
Happy birthday.
She's not lying.
Yeah,
She's not lying. Thank you. Yeah, and here we are to talk about Scorpion. 2 episodes. Let's start with the episode I really liked.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Money, no problem. I really liked it.
Yeah?
I really liked everything. I liked the actress who played Lucinda. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like there wasn't a lot where I got annoyed. Where in the last episode, 14, I was annoyed. Annoyed a lot.
Okay.
By Walter, by the whole mission, like the silo.
It was like a half mission. It was like a and the mission was a little too hard to believe on that one. The first one I liked though. I agree with you. The first one.
I actually was a little disappointed how quickly the first one ended.
Yeah.
Like, once they figured out, oh, we never left the country, we're still here, everything went too quickly after that. I was not a fan. I was like, you could have made this 2 episodes. Could have been like a part 2.
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like a little bit more, like taking
They
down
could've stretched it
Lucinda,
out a little.
who was the brand ambassador of, no. That's not right.
Brand ambassador.
I said
Yeah,
brand
just
ambassador. The
ambassador,
ambassador. I was thinking of something else. The ambassador of Nordic Y to the U.S. So it's like you could have done so much more with that episode, but it they jammed it in at the end. The last 15 minutes, I was like, this should be at least half an hour, if not longer. Why?
And the way they wrapped it up, is that what you're saying? The way they wrapped it up at the end? Yeah,
everything.
It was very Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12.
But too
It was
quick.
Ocean's 12 where it was annoying, where like they're like, oh, this was the whole movie just wrapped up and they just tell you everything happened. I hated Ocean's 12. I'm sure a lot of people agree. But yeah, it was like that, where they just tell you what happened instead of just, laying it out. Too much exposition.
Too much.
Yeah.
I was not liking it. The episode actually starts with a really cute flashback of Paige. I mean, being a little con. Little con so young. Stealing money with helping her mom steal money.
Which makes sense why she's so like
angry
on
about
her,
it.
Well, yeah, on her feet. But she's like always been on her feet with the team, even though she was just a waitress beforehand. She seamlessly moves into this team that like works on missions and stuff.
Right.
We've got a lot of happy birthdays from everyone in the chat room real quick. We have Corby One, Ivan Soto, Cynthia Guzman. They're all saying happy birthday.
Well, thanks, guys. And thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Celebrating my birthday here.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm glad they did that because I never knew. It's like, how involved was she in cons before? Like Paige.
Oh, Paige, yeah, right.
As a little girl.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they showed that because it was like, oh, she was her partner.
Yeah.
I mean, and it didn't seem, from that flashback, it wasn't like, oh, this is the first time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, you've mastered it, little
and
Paige.
we see the young mom, Leah Thompson,
Leah Thompson,
I
right.
forget her mom's name. What's her name?
Veronica.
Veronica,
No,
yeah, the young Veronica, yeah.
Well,
so
not
that
anymore.
was kind of fun to see. Yeah, to see her like as a mom. That was her version of momming.
Yeah, it was
not very good.
Not very good. Not very
the best.
good. Oh, this episode, just to get it out of the way, we're still talking about politics with Sylvester running.
How is that still part of the show? I totally forgot about it until you mentioned it right now.
I mean,
completely forgot about that.
They bring it up in this episode a little bit, but like it's just like you suck because you're too honest. something our president now doesn't choose to
something
believe.
really quick. Yeah.
So he chooses to be honest. Doesn't work, Sylvester. You got to not be honest in politics, apparently. But in the next episode, let's just get this whole conversation of Sylvester and the election out of the way.
Yeah.
In the second episode, though, they do that video.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah,
but
the video, and I like the whole storyline in the second episode with him getting the vote of that one dude.
That one dude.
I wish it would have shown a little bit more of like that one dude maybe influencing other people or something like that. Like
Well, maybe
saying,
we'll see that.
Oh, no. Yeah, maybe. So that'd be nice.
That would be
But I
nice.
liked that little part of it, but I still didn't care about the election.
I still just
thought it was a cute moment.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But in this episode, the number 13, they have the conch. I thought the conch was so funny.
Yeah? The invisible conch.
Even at the beginning when he brings out the conch and
really?
he's like, here we guys, this is how we're gonna talk. I thought that was so funny, and I loved the invisible conch at the end.
Yeah.
The
invisible conch was so funny.
That was-
with all of them. They all played it really
Sylvester
funny.
made me crack up. He's like, can I just see
Yeah.
the invisible conch first?
Yeah.
Like, that was all of
Yeah,
that.
they did a great job with that.
Was hilarious, hilarious. But in the first mission in the first episode that we are covering, we think they're gonna go to Croonie Crane Winery to revamp their viticular technology, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But that's
they do
what
all kinds of missions.
They do all kinds of stuff. I don't understand.
Save the world and they save wineries.
And
they
that,
just
exactly.
do it all.
And right away, they kind of split up because Happy forgets something. So Happy and Toby have to split up from the gang to get to this place. We're introduced to Lucinda, this very powerful Latin woman.
Yeah, she's badass.
Yeah, she's super badass.
Yeah,
I really
she's
liked her.
pretty.
Very pretty. And it's funny because at the beginning, I didn't distrust her.
Yeah, well,
Did you? I didn't.
I mean, she seems a little I don't know, something about her. She looks evil. I don't know, something about her face.
Yes.
She doesn't seem soft or nice.
She
right?
does have the evil queen, an
She's
evil
got
queen
yeah,
look.
she could play a great evil queen.
She's great to play a great evil queen. I trusted her though. Even when Walter was like, "Oh, I have the other two," she's like, "We're all supposed to go together." And then Walter's like, "Oh, I'll give you 10% because of the 10%." And then she's like, "Okay, let me make some calls."
Right.
But she didn't fight it too much.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was
I guess so. I thought it was weird from the get-go that she was like, "We have to have you guys all in the same car." I was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
you know.
And then she didn't fight it. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. But they get picked up in a limo to go to this winery. Now, we also have Veronica who's here to talk to Paige.
Yeah.
But Paige doesn't know.
Yeah.
Which is funny. This episode, it's funny because now that we're not going to have Veronica anymore, I don't hate her anymore. She kind of... There was things in these last two episodes where I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
The very last one I liked.
Yeah.
I liked her. It's still it still wasn't my favorite.
For sure, not at all.
Thing.
No.
But still, I think I more accepted that this was gonna be kind of a not cheesy but campy
Right.
storyline. You know,
Right.
they weren't gonna do anything crazy serious or whatever.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So yeah, I think I just accepted it, and yeah, she wasn't as intolerable.
Yeah,
I could stand her.
Exactly. It's bring her back next season for one episode.
Yes.
One episode.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
No Tim, no Veronica for a little bit.
For a little bit. And so they're in the limo, they're heading over, and instantly Walter realizes something's wrong. I mean, Cabe is pouring champagne into nothing.
Yeah, that was funny.
Really, for a second I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I thought it was just Cabe for a second. I was
Me
like,
too.
oh, Cabe's gonna.
Oh yeah, it's like what happened to
We
Cabe?
lost it.
Yeah, we lost it. They're being drugged through the vents in the car, and they figure it out, but not in enough time. They're passed out.
Right.
So quick, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
Right.
So good.
You didn't think to call Toby in that second?
Right?
You thought to get all these champagne bottles
bottles
together
and pop them?
pop a window, but you didn't think to just 911. Emergency call on iPhones real quick.
911. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't call Toby because Toby and Happy left their phone in a basket anyway.
Yeah.
That's another thing I can't. But
yeah.
they wake up and they're in what they think is Nordiguai. I love how Scorpion creates
Countries.
places that sound like real places.
Yeah.
You know, that's Paraguay,
Right.
Uruguay.
I thought
those
at
are real
first
places.
they were just saying Uruguay weird. I was like, you guys are saying that weird.
Yeah,
And then then, and then they kept saying, I was like, oh, I see. You made up another place.
You made up another place.
They've made up places before.
All the
I love
time.
it.
Yeah, they do. I love it.
But they do it so well that we have to look them up.
Yes, because
sometimes.
it's like, does that sound? That sounds right.
Is that a place? Is
that
that
sounds
recently?
normal.
Is that a new country? Did they discover a new country?
Did that separate from Paraguay?
Yeah.
Is that like the northern
the baby?
part?
Did they have a baby?
Oh, we loved it. I love it. I love it. They think they're in Uruguay. There's like Spanish around them. What else?
I liked that. The outlets that they noticed were different.
That's what it was.
That's detail. Why would that be in Simi Valley? Did they answer that?
No,
they didn't.
This was. I think they said that this was created. This environment for them.
Okay,
purposely.
so they did. Wow, that's a lot of details put into that.
For sure. They even changed Sylvester's watch to
the time.
3.5 hours. So they were like, what are places 3.5 hours away in a flight, whatever.
I like that.
So I liked all of that. Quickly, Lucinda comes in with her boys standing behind her, and she's like, listen, me and my brother are going to take the U.S. down because of this, this, and that. I mean, that's pretty good, right?
Just like that. She had that accent and everything.
A little bit, yeah.
Everything.
She's like, she wants revenge on the U.S. because the U.S. kind of ruined their economy, is what she claims, or they claim. Her brother is President Durante, who's like a terrible guy who apparently feeds his enemies to his dogs, and like just a terrible human. They want to replicate $100 bills, and they already have some, but they're not finished.
Right. They want half a
billion? Yeah, like a stupid amount. Half a billion $100 bills.
Nobody needs that much money.
Nobody. And they want them to finish them because they already have the bill, but they don't have the strip.
And
the little
hologram.
Holographic, and I think maybe like one of the little symbols, it's also like a hologram, but that strip, which is a new thing on the dollars, like maybe like 5 years now?
Yeah.
And the thing was that we are revealed that they killed somebody already, a professor who tried to do this. So that's why the job is half done. So these are not good people, but they've done their research. She like lists off like what they've done.
Yeah.
She even brought up Djibouti with the bowl. She's like, you replicated this bowl that existed on.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
Right? I was like, how did you watch that episode? You caught that
Did you
one?
catch that? That's great. That's great. And so she like threatens them, and they got to do this. Veronica kind of opens up her mouth and says that she doesn't have the right formula.
Right.
And she's like, look up my record. I'm a bad girl too.
Yeah.
We can be friends, you and I. I did this, and this, and I'm really good. And she gives her reasons as to why she's wrong.
Right, yeah.
With the formula that they're using to create this. So Veronica and Paige are set off to do this formula thing. When they're in there, everything that went down between them was so good. I'm going to give it up. Catherine McPhee, give her some acting chops.
Yeah,
always.
always.
She's so good. When they're there, that's where the whole interaction with Luis was so funny with the lip balm.
I like Luis.
Me too. But she was like, my lips are so dry. It's just like the air of Southern California.
Yeah,
That was so funny. That was one of the best lines that Leah Thompson for me has given me as Veronica. That whole thing. But while they're in there, they talk a lot. They send a message over to Walter and the rest of the gang.
With that lip balm. I was surprised he gave it to her.
Yeah.
It seemed easy, right?
It did. But, it's like maybe Lucinda was like, do it. Let's see what they want.
Right, yeah. And I thought Veronica was doing like a psychological thing to see like what. She's
yes.
like, I wonder what kind of guy he is.
Right, how much can I get out of him? And
exactly.
then it's true because it's like after that she does say, now we just need Luis's help.
Right, and then she swipes his card.
Right.
She knew that he would help her.
All of that. So there's like reason to, who knows? You could either go, Lucinda was like, do it, let's see what they're trying to do, or it was Leah Thompson or Veronica just being real sneaky. But we got two con ladies, so who knows? So we got the guys working on the printer, but they get this message. They got the printer running. They get this message that there's like, she thinks there's a car, there's a road.
Right, like a clearing that they can make.
That she thinks that they can get to, get some help. So they are going to do it. But obviously, these are bad guys checking in every X amount of time. And super fun guy Watch comes into play. That was funny. I wonder if that's real. Could you do that? The whole like going to the swipe, the card swipey thing, and using these wires to connect to show you when they last swiped.
Right.
If that's true, that's crazy, but that's cool.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So they, it's like every 2 hours they check in. So they're like, all right, we got about 2 hours ish till they come back. So they head off. They break down the concrete and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't sound different.
Just conveniently made a drill.
Yeah, but I was like, that doesn't sound differently than the printer.
Right, yeah.
That was one thing.
Starting up a whole machine.
Yeah, like I understand that the printer must be super loud. I get it. But that was probably the only thing that episode I was like, the concrete being shattered and drilled.
Yeah. I like that they made the point that, you know, they're like, oh, well, this is going to back up and it might stop and they might notice the sound of it stopping. My biggest thing was like, you guys just left. You didn't even consider going to get Paige and her mama.
Yeah, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Right? Like, I thought that was weird. Normally, when people escape, they try to get their whole team. I don't know. Or, like, I don't know, something.
I think their logic was, I'm going to go get help.
Get out and get help. Yeah, but still. And then, and knowing that they might get caught with a big old hole in their wall, it's like, well, obviously, then Paige and Veronica are getting in trouble. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird to leave. And, you know, it's Paige, you know? Yeah. She's the non-genius. And her mom, well, I guess, you know, her mom's pretty scrappy, but...
Exactly. Yeah, that's a little weird,
but
I
thought that was harsh.
They were gonna go get some help.
They're gonna come back. We'll be back. We'll be right back, you guys.
Right. So the machine stops, which was the problem that they thought could occur. And instantly, Veronica goes in a con to her own daughter. You know, she fakes a heart attack. Insults her friends, da-da-da-da. This is where Catherine McPhee, I was like, man, when she thinks, because she thinks it's real, and she starts to panic.
Right, she's like freaking out.
And she's freaking out, and they come in, like Lucinda and the other guys, finally open the door. She, like, yells, please, in such a desperation. Yeah. It was so good. So good. I was like, man, Lucinda, give her whatever she wants. Yeah. Like... how do you not believe that? Yeah. Lucinda kind of believed it.
And they did help out a little bit, yeah. They were not as harsh of, what do you call those? Not hostages, but the other kidnappers.
Kidnappers.
You know, they could, you know, compared to other shows and stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. Nice. They did. I mean, they got the lip balm. They're giving aspirin.
Helping out.
Totally. And in that whole interaction, somehow, she swipes Luis's key card. Yeah. And so they head over to the room. And I was like, okay, this is too easy. There's nobody around.
Of course.
So they're all waiting. So I was like, okay, good. So they're waiting. Yeah. All right, so this makes sense. They're already waiting for them in the room. They've already realized it all. So it's no bueno for Veronica and Paige. No bueno. We got freaking Toby and Happy drunk. Toby's drunk.
I love that. I love that whole interaction. That was
all of that. They were at the winery. He's getting too tipsy because he's trying 16 different wines is what he said. And they're being followed because they're supposed to join the rest of the gang. Right. That's what it is. The guy that they kind of interact with gets also taken down. This was another thing that bothered me, now that I think about it. So they take him down, first with the barrels, like, blocking him in the gate. He shoots at them, and nothing. They're complete nothing, all right? They run off, they get in a car, drive off in a truck. He follows them. He's shooting them. Nothing. I think he takes down a rear, like, not the rear mirror, the side mirror.
Oh, the side.
He takes down the side mirror of the truck. I think that's all he does. And then Toby, in his drunkenness, basically starts a fire on the barrel, drops it, and then it implodes. And I was like...
It's like Donkey Kong.
A little bit. I just played Donkey Kong, like, 3 days ago, by the way.
Right?
I moved the Wii to my room, and I was like, I want to play some Donkey Kong. And I moved the Wii to my room at, like, 11 o'clock at night, and I played till, like, 1 in the morning. Wow. And I had such a fabulous time, Dexter and I. It's like, Dexter,
was this
look at me.
after you saw the episode? Maybe it was just, like, subconscious.
No, this wasn't. This was before watching this episode. God, it was so good. I'm going to play soon.
That's funny. There you go.
But I just, that thing, it was just, like, a little, you're drunk. How is this? Yeah. He does run out of bullets. I forgot. He does run out of bullets. Right. But that whole thing, I was like, you're too drunk. And then he rips his, like, hood off of his jacket. I don't even know if you know. That was done so fast. You couldn't rip that hood off that fast, even if, like, you know.
It's Velcro. It's like 2 pieces of Velcro.
Maybe. No. You heard the rip. They used that sound effect of a rip, not Velcro. And I was like, don't play. Why couldn't he have had, like, a handkerchief or something? Or,
okay.
Something. It was like, let me just rip this off.
Drunk.
Exactly. Have you ever tried ripping fabric? It's not that easy. You know, you gotta get a good one.
Yeah, right.
But once you get one, it was like, come on. He's like over here from the back. No pieces. No. I did not like that whole thing. So they are able to take a key fob from the guy from the car. They're
Right.
like, the guys are in trouble. They don't even have phones on them because they've left them at the winery. So I liked how Toby described back to the genius lab. Is that what he called it?
Yeah.
Or he's like, instead of this dirty garage,
Yeah, right.
back to the genius lab or something. And then they head over there to try and help. And they're now kind of aware of the situation. They're like in contact because Walter, Cabe, and Sylvester escaped,
Right.
leaving the ladies behind.
Yep. Peace.
Oh my. And then they go to the bar at Simi Valley.
Peace.
Yeah, real
Give me a
quick.
drink. Yeah.
That was funny when Cabe was like, USA. It's like, come on, Cabe. He was so, when they finally get out.
Oh, right,
and then they
right,
realize
yeah.
it, he's like, USA. I was like, all right, cool. So they go into the bar and they ask this guy for help who doesn't seem to want to help, but then he's a devil,
a Marine
devil
Corps.
dog or something.
Yeah.
The tattoo, yeah. They have this special connection and they're able to get, not only make some phone calls, but they're able to get
a car, get a
and a
gun.
gun. And that looked like a good
They
gun.
stocked up. Yeah.
He stocked up, yeah.
It was like the perfect spot. To
Right,
hit up.
literally. And I love when he told the bar owner, like, hey, not to be disrespectful, but
Right.
you should have protection
Yeah.
in this type of
But
place.
I'm sure you do.
I'm sure you do. So they head back to save the ladies that they left behind, which Susanna didn't like.
Yeah.
Don't leave the ladies behind.
I mean,
I don't understand why we
I
do
felt
that.
weird about it.
I felt weird about it. They head back, and they're able to take back Veronica and Paige. Another fight goes on, another gunfight, and nobody gets hurt again. But this time, the truck that they took from the bartending guy, they take the tires.
Yeah.
So they got to ride in style.
So does that bartender get reimbursed for his?
You
does
ask this all the
Homeland-
time.
I know. I worry.
I worry. I wish they would show one episode. What happens
for the- yeah.
when Homeland takes someone's stuff?
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, do
Not
they get
behind
their
the
money back?
scenes, Behind the
That's a great
missions.
question. Yeah, that's a great question. Behind
There
the
you go.
scenes of the mission.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What happens after the mission is done? Scorpion.
Yeah. I want to see those invoices.
Yeah. So they get back on the limo, and this is funny because you have Toby and Happy at the garage, and they're listening. And so when they're about to get on the limo, Sylvester's like, we gotta go all the windows down this time. And then Toby's Kay's been eating jerky.
Eating that jerky again.
That was really funny.
I thought the jerky would come up again, like in the mission or something.
Yeah,
but
and it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. And this is where it's like you jam-packed all this together. They figure out the location where they might have gone. It's this super empty plain warehouse that ends up being a federal way station for the bills. So Lucinda and her people have put these bills mixed in with real bills to screw the economy in the U.S.
Right.
That is what it was. She didn't want it to
Not what
use
we thought it
herself.
was, yeah.
It wasn't what we thought at all. It was just to screw and devalue the dollar. And then it's like, oh, this is so good. I can't wait to see how they take Lucinda down. And then the episode's over in 3 minutes. It's so annoying.
Pretty much.
So annoying. Walter once again does a ridiculous act and creates an explosion in this garage, and they have to, or this whatever type of storage unit. He creates an explosion,
right.
and then they hide in the vault, and that's how they survive.
Convenient
and they
vault.
take seriously, and then they take Lucinda and everybody.
Yeah.
That's literally how it went.
Yeah.
How annoying.
Yeah. And so they exploded all that money, but a lot of it was real money, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
they just torched a lot of money.
They did, and they have to reprint it.
So what is that? Is that on the invoice as well?
That's probably, the FBI who prints FBI prints money.
I don't know.
I think it's the FBI who
think
prints
it's
the money.
It's on the National Treasury. I don't
We're
know.
really good at that. I think it's the FBI. I would say the FBI charges Homeland.
Cool.
That's what I would guess about all those bills that they're going to have to reprint. But yeah, that's how it freaking ends, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying. I really did like when Veronica was impressed with Lucinda's, sneaky...
yeah.
She's like, she pulled off the... Punxsutawney peekaboo.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I like how all the cons have names.
Have names and stuff. So good, so good. And then they take everyone down. We head back to the garage like always, and we find out that Happy and Toby are broke. I'm not shocked.
No, it's cute the way they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not shocked at all. Yeah.
So, where are they gonna have the wedding?
Kowalski's.
Really?
No.
I
At
bet.
the garage.
Me too. I bet
garage.
they're gonna do it on the roof of the garage.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be at the garage.
That'd be really cute.
They're gonna tell the group that they don't have money.
Yeah.
And I bet you they're gonna be like, let's just do it here.
Yeah.
And Paige just came up on a lot of money.
That's true.
So she could help. That was a lot of money. That actually leads us into the next episode.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. They're kind of connected because The problem was that at the end of this first episode, Veronica was on the news. And she was like, I'm on the run. They didn't know I was back.
Right.
Now they're going to know I'm back.
Right.
That now kind of translates a little bit into this episode, this week's episode, which is called The Whole Truth.
Yeah.
Episode 14. Not a big fan at all. There was some stuff about it. Walter really annoyed me on how, like, condescending and how he was, like, talking to everyone. Yeah. And I get it. Like, I understand what they're going with it. But several times he was annoying in this episode about it. So I didn't like that. I hated kind of parts of the mission itself.
Me too. I didn't like the mission. I didn't like the whole net. Really, you're gonna tie these nets together.
That was like the least of my worries on that one.
Like the time that it takes to get all of those nets together from wherever you were and tie them together and put them out and stake them down. You couldn't have just called somebody with like a cherry picker or like called a fire truck to come over. They put a ladder up, get the guy. Isn't that what you do usually? Like a burning building, you would throw a ladder up there and you get the guy down. Right?
I am with you. I felt like it was like, oh, I solved the problem. No, I didn't. Now this is the problem. Oh, I didn't solve that one either. Now this is the problem. Right. It was like, so.
I mean, that always happens with Scorpion.
That always does happen with Scorpion. But this one, I just didn't care for it.
Yeah.
So they were gonna go help with a leak underground in the pipes that they couldn't find. They specifically called Scorpion to see if they could find this leak that nobody else could find.
Right.
Turns out there's tons of tiny leaks.
Yeah.
And the soil is really like soft and everything's gonna collapse. And that's exactly what happens in a sinkhole. We're also introduced to Chief in this episode. That's all we get.
Oh, yeah.
I like Chief.
I liked him.
Yeah. He punched Walter.
Yeah.
Which Walter has a black eye. Now has two. But that was funny. That was the funny thing.
Eye. Yeah.
That kind of also bothered me.
What?
The whole thing about the punch card. Because it was like, Walter, a genius, doesn't see the logic in the fact of you get one punch, dude, on your punch card.
Not item, purchase.
Yeah. It was like, come on.
Right.
I wish he would have been punched for something else.
Right.
At the froyo, fine, do it. Do it
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
froyo thing. But it was like, come on.
Maybe something like with the weight or like, something like mathematical or something like that.
Something mathematical.
Yeah.
But it was
this
like,
is just being petty.
Yeah,
Right,
and he's like, he's not stupid.
Right.
Like, this is very logical.
Right.
And they're logical. Like, we're not telling him something just out of the ordinary. No,
Right.
it's like, no, that you get one punch.
Or maybe if they make a point that like Walter's just being like attitude-y now,
Yes,
and, not that
yes.
he's just like, not antisocial or
Right.
have low EQ or
EQ
whatever.
is what they're saying.
Yeah, if it's like, oh, he's just so frustrated with the whole Paige situation or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, but I didn't like. I
Not a
didn't
good
like
enough
it.
reason.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I felt it was like a cheap shot when he's such a genius. I don't know. I don't know. And so we got a sinkhole, and we got Chief not liking Walter. And Walter sucking at talking to people, calling people mole rats, and they should be sandhogs. So the sinkhole starts, and then the first problem is there's a sinkhole, and it can't keep going because the silo is going to break, this giant silo that has 40,000 gallons of toxic chemicals.
Awesome.
Great. That if it falls in the sinkhole, it's right above like an aquifer is what they called it.
Aquifer, yeah.
Aquifer, that's what they called it, an aquifer, where it can contaminate a lot of the water that we use in California, Southern California. So it's like, oh, it's a big problem. So they got to do it. They think of like draining it. They're like, oh, we can do this. Drain it a little bit, slow down the sinkhole.
Right.
And that's the first process that they're doing. Of course, it doesn't work out. It's fine. So then the silo does break. Kind of. It
starts to lean.
It starts to like tilt.
Yeah.
But not all the way.
Right.
It's like, like
Some
the
guy's like, let me
leading
go up there.
That was it. That was another thing.
And then Chief's all worried about like losing people.
Right.
And this guy, okay, but you can go up there. That's fine. That seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
If you're
And
so
he
worried,
sent him
Chief,
up
then
there.
why don't you go up there, Chief? You
And
know
he
what I mean?
sent him up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the captain go down with the ship?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. But no, he doesn't. He does not. To get all this, to alleviate the pressure that they were trying to do, they did send Cabe, Sylvester, and that other construction guy down to open up some hose or some valve underground. And they send Cabe, and he's like, great, send the old guy. That was another thing. He's like, construction guy, you go.
Yeah.
Don't you know what this is all? Don't you know this area?
Seriously.
I get it. Sylvester's not going to go. That's
Right.
chill. That's gravy. But this other guy, what are you doing? Like, but Cabe, fine, being a strong Man, he is. He goes in. And I like this scene. This was fun to watch this guy change his vote for Sylvester based on how smart Sylvester was.
And how Sylvester's working and being brave.
And being brave. And, like, he makes fun of him initially in this scene. He's like, oh, if only you had your magic spell to help. Sylvester's like, haha, good one.
Right.
And so the problem here is that the metal, like...
Yeah, the little bar broke and the metal, like, fused together.
All of that. Because this whole...
can't get out.
It's stuck. It's, like, legit stuck.
And I felt like they, like, glossed over that really quick. Like, Cabe almost died. Did they even mention that later? You know what I mean? Like, Cabe almost died, you guys.
Right. Walter
but it went
and
by so fast, and, you know... I was like, he could have died.
You're right. It wasn't even brought up to, like, Walter and Paige. It's like, oh, no, we're good. He almost died.
Worked, yeah.
But, no, we're good. What's going on here?
It's cool.
This is good.
Oh,
good talk.
Goodness.
But they create energy using, like, coils and wires and a magnet, and he has this guy
Kinetic
spin.
energy. I like that.
Yes, something that, like, makes sense. It's like, I believe this.
Right, yeah.
They create energy, they use a saw, an electric saw, and they take him out. But it's like, he almost died.
Right.
And it's funny, because, like, I didn't get Sylvester's, like, sense of urgency. He was very controlled.
Right, yeah.
Even when he was telling Cabe, he's like, I know it's at your neck.
Right.
And probably when I'm done, it's gonna be above your head.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to hold your breath.
It's like he knew 100% that he was gonna get through it. You know? He was like, oh, this is fine.
This is gonna but it's just gonna happen in the worst amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, but he kept his composure, like, very Altadena president, whatever he wants to be, you know? So that leads him to get another vote, and it's great. I loved all that. It was so fun. Great. Back to the stupid silo.
That's another made-up place, right? West Altadena?
West Altadena,
There you
yeah.
go, West Altadena,
totally.
California.
Yeah, I actually thought it was, like, a real fake place in, like, a game.
Yeah,
when they first started doing.
That's what I thought, too. I was like, oh, they're wizards.
Yes, like
West
a game.
Altadena.
Yes.
It's right next to Hogwarts. A step away from The Hobbit. Or, you know?
No, seriously. So the silo, like you said, it's tilting, and then they're like, oh, we can secure it with some cables. That doesn't really work. Then the chief punches Walter.
Yeah.
Which he deserved it.
Right.
Oh, he totally deserved it.
Right. But it's also like, you guys are going to take this time right now to do this, to be a baby about this, and then, like, the chief is, like, what, pouting in the corner? Is he going to cry about it until Walter comes over and apologizes? You really have time for this right now? Your dude's up there.
Yeah. I know. It all happened. It was just, I know. It's weird. It was just, like, the timing of this whole thing. It was, like, so intense, so dramatic, so, like, you're gonna contaminate everything in California. Like, we gotta do this.
Right.
And yet, y'all want to fight. And the chief walks away, and then Happy tries to be Paige in this episode a little bit.
That was funny. I liked how she, like, failed the times that she did.
Right. Even telling the chief, he's just smarter than you.
We all are.
So, that was funny. So it comes down to the nets. The nets that were, usually they do this in Scorpia, and they drop a hint of something at the beginning of the episode.
Right.
And they do. They mention the nets are there to catch the people in case of something. They want to use the nets to just let the silo fall. And they're like, oh, you're crazy. This isn't going to work. But it's going to work. And so they let it fall, and thinking Joe, the guy who's in the silo, is going to be fine. But he breaks his leg, obviously.
Of course.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
I'm glad something happened to him.
Yeah,
Because it's like, how are you not going to be hurt on that fall when you're at the roof of the silo?
I was thinking, like, when that sucker comes over, you just leap.
That's what I would have done! And land in the net!
You just go like this, and then,
you jump.
It's figure it out, right? How bad? I mean, it's coming down.
Right.
I've ridden roller coasters. What, Supreme Scream pulls you down like this. You know what I mean? So
just not go into roller coasters, but full throttle.
Yes.
I will never do again in my life. How?
So good.
As I sat next to you, I was like, I hate this. I don't like this. I don't want any of this. Why are we still here?
We're in the best seats, that's why.
It was the worst experience of my life. I don't think I could. And I love roller coasters.
That was such a good
I want to
one.
cry just thinking about it.
I rode it again in a different seat, and it wasn't as good. I think it's the seats that we rode, and it was the first time.
It's making me like seriously, like I can't.
Almost, we thought we were dying.
I thought I died, and then came back to life after the ride was over. I thought I passed out for a second.
So he could have just imagined being on that and just
go. Like
but his
Superman.
leg was broken, so he probably didn't. He was probably going to, but his leg was, he was like, bum leg.
Bum leg. Sorry to hurt. Let me just break it here.
Yeah.
Workers' comp.
Walk it off, man. Walk it off.
Walk it off. So he's hurt. He's hurt, and he needs some help, but he's fine. Like, even, like, Toby looks at him, he's like, he's hurt, but he's fine.
Right.
So we know that. I hated this. That Walter climbs onto the silo to save him with the chief.
I know.
And jumps down on this, like, how big was
know.
the amount of space he had? Shh, come mierda, no.
Yeah,
I did not like
annoying.
that. Really?
Yeah. Why Walter?
Why Walter? And like, why you're over here with nets and wires? Why couldn't you wrap a wire around your leg, hand it to someone, so like in case you fall, somebody's got you? Because it's really hard for me to believe that you can hold yourself with one arm,
right?
Walter.
And that they would make that decision, you know?
Right.
Like clearly that was gonna be incredibly difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, dude, come on! You can't believe Walter can lift himself up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, Cabe would be more believable to lift himself up like that.
Right, yeah, I guess so.
It's just that whole like, all right, you jumped on a foot wide, if that, piece of metal.
Yeah.
And then you slipped, and then you held on with one arm.
One arm.
One arm.
He works out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he lifted himself up with one arm to be held by the guy who has a broken leg.
You know?
TV.
Superpowers.
The magic of television.
Yes.
The magic of television. I did not like that. I didn't like any of that. I didn't. No me gusta. Not at all. Not at all. But they save each other. Like, you know, he gets out, whatever. It even looks like he steps on his broken leg, to be honest with you, in one of the scenes before he gets helped. I was like, come on, guys. When they're getting off the like ladder, I'm like, okay, how's he doing this? He has a broken leg. How's he doing this?
Right, yeah, I was thinking that too.
How's he doing this?
They kind of like glossed over the scenes. They're like, this is going to be awkward, so we're just going to show it in the background.
Show it in the background because we really can't figure this one out. Paige and Veronica arrive at the scene where this is all going down. They heard it in the car on the drive after. Because Veronica, we didn't talk about it, but Veronica and Paige were off doing their own little mission, their own little con. Veronica asked Paige for help. I couldn't believe Paige said yes.
Me too. Right? There's a lot of things actually in this episode. I was kind of like,
right? There's so many things.
Ethics, you know?
Yeah.
And like, Paige, are those really the decisions Paige is going to make? You got a little boy to think about. And, you know, like a lot of things. But yeah, that was the first one.
And Paige didn't even like fight it. She was like, yeah, I'll help you.
Right, and you have all this resentment towards your mom because of this stuff, and you're still cool with this, you know?
Not okay.
Right?
Not okay.
Right?
But they go off and pretend to be OSHA doing a spot safety check at the original place where they met Paige's mom.
Right.
She hid a briefcase full of money.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Of course she did.
And there are people working on this building, so like she can't go and get it.
She needs to get it now.
So they make like fake IDs. They get in there.
Yeah.
Paige leads the way.
All this stuff.
Paige, I know the fact
really,
that Paige
is doing all this stuff
super
for your mom.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like,
and you don't want to help your mom be like a better person. She just came back into your life. Maybe like you just helped her get away from these bad guys, and now you know you're still cool with her just leaving. Well, the bad guys aren't really after her anymore. Right. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like any of that. I didn't like it. And they do it pretty quickly. They go in there. She takes the briefcase, claims that it's asbestos, and that they're gonna test it.
Right.
And then they go. So simple. And on the drive to the scene, Toby tells them, "We need you." Walter's going crazy, you know, because they talked to her about the WaltCon. The thing the levels
1 through
of
5.
1 through 5. He said it's based on the DEFCON nuclear threat system because when Walter gets to 1, is it 1 or 5? Whatever direction they were going.
5 is good. 1 is bad.
So when they got to 1, that he was like a nuclear disaster type of thing.
Yeah, he's been at a 4 with Paige, which is good.
Which is good.
And now he's at a 3.
He's not. Yeah, he's going down. They have a list of the places he's not allowed to go to.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, he gets a little cray. He gets a little cray.
Yeah.
At the dentist. Yeah. So in the car, which total product placement in both of these, I think we saw Chevy twice in this episode.
And she used it. I was like, okay, I'll get one.
Yeah. I'll get it. You don't have to tell me more.
Fine, good.
You got it.
Shoot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking at. I'm like, I kind of like a Chevy.
I really liked what she did there. I was like, okay,
text Toby.
I can't even raise the volume on my steering wheel. I need a new car.
Yeah, and she did it so easily. Like, text Toby back. Read message.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not how it's gonna work. You know, you're gonna like be driving that Chevy and be like, text Monse.
Texting mommy. No, don't tell her. Don't tell her that. Don't tell her what I was gonna tell Monse.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
We should do
That's
that.
what would happen.
That would be so hilarious.
What would happen.
That would be so funny. But seriously, nice product placement on that car.
Yeah.
And they always show us a Chevy. Like, we know
and
that
Apple
that's...
too, I think.
Yes.
I think they do a lot of Apple,
But this time it was like you saw the wheel, you saw the capability of the car. It was literally like a commercial.
A little commercial, yeah.
It was a commercial for Chevy.
Featuring Paige, yeah.
Featuring Paige and Leah Thompson.
Right?
Like, let's be real.
Right?
So they go to the scene, they go to where everything's going, and they, you know, Joe is saved. Everything seems to be okay. But then the silo cracks.
Yeah, of course.
Which makes sense. One of the few things that made sense in this episode. The silo cracks, and then the spill, because they weren't able to drain the silo, even though they took lots of gallons out of it at the beginning part of the episode. They can't do it. And it's about to, like, California's about to have no water in moments.
Right.
And so...
Less water than we already don't have.
Even after the storm.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's pretty, like...
Everything's fresh and clean and green.
It's just cold.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
It's so cold.
I'm so dying. It's too cold. I heard on the radio it's going to be lows of 30 today in the middle of the night. I said, excuse me?
It, like, hurts my face.
Vomit right now. Yeah. Vomit as you're telling me this, radio. And so they're like, okay, let's create a hardening shell. And it's funny because he's like, Froyo.
So good.
So, do you know, it's dipping a thing and hardening it, right?
Right.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
You don't like that? Oh,
I'm
so
not.
good.
It's usually chocolate.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not chocolate. Yeah, they usually do it on, like soft serve all day.
Yeah. So they're gonna harden the crap. Can I say? I don't even know. They're gonna harden the stuff in the middle of the sinkhole.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't
Chemicals.
go. Yeah. So that it doesn't actually go into the aquifers.
Sure.
That thing.
Yeah, the water.
The water, and so that way they fix, and nobody dies. Save the day. Whatever. When they're doing this, when they're like, oh, we gotta do this quickly. They show you a quick moment of Paige saying, Walter, when you have a second, we need to talk.
Right.
And you think that it's because of how he's been treating other people. But it's done very quick, very subtly, and then they go on to do the hardening thing, and, like, they start working on it. Right away, you see the rope, like, wrapped around Walter's foot as it's starting to harden, so they've already done it. And Veronica goes in to help and falls in. My face dropped.
Yeah.
My jaw. That's when I text you with the exclamation points. I text Susannah in all caps, and I was like, did you see Scorpion?
And I hadn't seen it.
And then she was like, she texted me like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes later. And so I had finished the episode, and I was like, it was a little bit premature. Yeah. But still good. They got me.
Really?
I was like, Veronica's gone. I've been calling a death for years. I've been saying there's a death for 3 seasons. I'm getting a death.
Right?
And then I didn't.
No, not at all.
No. And then
I think they're doing that on purpose though. I think they know that the fans are like, oh, there's gonna be a death, someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
So that's why, you remember I said with the whole Tim thing when he was tugging on that rope and I was like, is he gonna fall in?
Yeah.
I feel like the writers are doing this on purpose, like to the fans,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
At least to me.
I believe it. I'm telling you, they got me. They got me. My jaw dropped. And then the very next scene, they're still getting me because of how they did it. Like, it's Walter and, like, Cabe and Sylvester. There's a television. They look very serious. Yeah. And the news is, like, death at sinkhole. Veronica Dineen. Even the name. They even, like, got a reporter to make a fake thing. Like, And then, like, Walter says, I'm worried about her being alone right now. And then you see her in the distance sitting down, looking really distraught. Like your mom just died. Type of thing, And then
the bad guy comes in.
And she, like, sells it. She sells it. I believed her. Tells her that, like, I'll pay you. You'll be good by 2094. Because I was a waitress 2.5 years ago. I'm a single mom. Like, I don't have money. Right. You saw my mom fall on TV with the bag, with the briefcase of money. Like, everything's gone, whatever. And he leaves. And then instantly, like, you see the car. They see the car drive off in the monitor that the bad guy was in. And then the music, the background music changes to the typical Scorpion light one. And then they're like, oh, he's gone. And you're like, what? And then, and then like, Veronica walks out. Like, everybody, it was all a setup.
Like making a joke.
Oh. But they got me.
Yeah.
I liked it. That was the best part of the episode.
I only knew because you texted me. You're like, oh, it's premature. They got me. So I was like, oh, okay, so whatever happens, it's probably not going to be. So I was like, I'm going to wait and see what happens. We're going to watch.
We're going to watch. Probably shouldn't have texted you that, but I just was very excited. Very excited. And so, she's leaving. They give her a new identification. This was so that she can be free and not always on the run.
Right.
And
that too.
Why would you do that for her?
This is Homeland. Homeland doing this?
Yeah.
Homeland, aren't y'all supposed to be looking out for us? So you're gonna let this con lady out to con me? Is that what you're doing? You're just gonna let her go con me out of my money? Is that right?
Literally, yeah.
You're helping her? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have helped her move on with her life and find a job, you know,
Yeah.
like settle down, be a good grandma.
But no.
They're gonna be like, go be a good con woman.
Yeah, that's what she's gonna come back next season, and it's gonna be like, oh, I messed up.
Yeah, I need another idea. Can you make me another one of these?
Another one, and can you
get
kill
another?
me again?
Yeah, right.
Can you kill me again? They give her new identification. They have a sweet goodbye between her and
It was
Paige.
alright. Yeah,
Yeah, like
it was very light.
it was very light, but I think like
Lighthearted.
that's what it had to
Right,
be,
yeah.
type of thing. It was funny when she like says what she whispers to Walter, whatever he says, whatever she says. Not whispers, but like says it, you know, to his ear. People are listening, and it's clearly about him and Paige. Paige is like subtle.
Yeah, I like that Paige was aware of it.
Yes,
Yeah, that was funny.
yes,
That's what made
yes.
it. Yeah.
And then she still says something to Paige, like when they all walk away. Paige says, "I don't care about him that way anymore."
Right.
And then Veronica responds with, "Now you're just conning yourself."
Yeah.
It was great. That was so great. That
Mama
was great.
knows.
Mama knows. Then they, you know, she says, "I'll miss you," whatever, and she's like, "I always miss you."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh. And then she tells her, "I left you a little some in the desk."
And
Little
another thing.
A little bye for Ralphie.
Right.
And it was cute that Ralph was like, "I made us an encrypted, you know,
Yeah,
USB
yeah,
thing
so we
for
can
that we can
email.
email each other and people won't catch you."
Right.
So they'll be in touch. I'm sure we'll hear like they'll probably say like, "Oh, Ralph, have you talked to Grandma?"
Yeah.
And then he'll like give us like a little bit. But Veronica leaves Paige all the money, it looks like.
Yeah.
And it was like stacks of 10 grand.
A lot.
Stacks on
Right.
stacks on stacks on stacks.
I was wondering if any of that was fake, maybe.
Is that any from the Lucinda
right.
batch?
Did you pull that from Lucinda to put right? Yeah.
Did you take any with you?
You took the full money and then put it into the next episode,
Yes.
and then right.
Yeah, that would
That
have
would
been
kind
funny.
of funny, you know, if she took the fake money from them and paid the bad guys off with that money.
Yeah.
Oh, tie-in.
Guys,
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, didn't have to kill Veronica. And then Paige is like, "I need help with the offshore account," and the episode ends. Wow, what did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, that was another thing at the end. It's like, really? You're going to keep this money that was, you know.
That's dirty. That's
Yeah,
contaminated.
Dirty money.
Dirty money.
For Ralph.
Yeah.
I was like, where'd you get this money from? Oh, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I just came up.
Yeah.
I just won the lottery. I'm gonna make it rain.
Right.
What college you want to go to? You probably want to go to an Ivy League school with that brain. So now she can pay for it.
Yeah.
Which is the only good thing about it. That it you know.
It's for Ralph.
It's for Ralph.
So I get that.
So it's like.
Right.
Yeah. And she does say, "You've never wanted to take any of my like earnings through my cons.
Right.
So leave this for Ralph." She
Yeah.
even addresses it. But yeah, it was just. All right, so now you love your mom and you're going to help her do cons.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so you're not going to take money from her cons for yourself, but it's okay to give it to your son. You know what I mean? Like, how is that not the same?
Yeah, but I really liked the first
I get it.
episode we talked about. 13.
Yeah, I liked the
really
first
liked
episode.
all of that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I hated the 14th, the sinkhole, or what is it called? Not sinkhole.
The whole
The
truth.
whole truth. It's not that I didn't like it. It wasn't like my favorite, but it also was not my least favorite. There was just things
Right.
about it that it was like more like Walter annoyed me too much throughout it.
Yeah.
The whole sinkhole and the silo, too much for me.
I kind of like that it was like a different setup a little
Yeah.
bit, but I feel like it could have been done a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that they wrapped up the whole Veronica storyline, sort of.
They did, for
It's
now.
like, okay, now what's new? You know, now I'm
Something
like
new.
expecting something totally different. You know, we don't really know what to expect the next episode.
They did exactly. They didn't even give us
like
a.
it's gonna be something about Sylvester. I'm thinking, you know.
Yeah, the election. We're
Yeah.
gonna see that thing needs to be wrapped up. Let's wrap up that election. But yeah, they didn't give us like a what's gonna happen next week. We have no idea. So, all I can tell you is the election is not going anywhere for them.
Right.
And I think that's the only.
And the wedding.
And the wedding. The
The
two
wedding.
storylines that we're gonna keep seeing. Excited about the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes, I think we're all done. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, being in the live chat. Let us know what you think. Susannah, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at Susannah_Kim, SUSANNAH_KIM.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MONSEBOLANOS. And, AfterBuzz covers a lot of shows. Susannah's on Speechless, so check out that. Check out Grimm, which is going to end, and I'm so sad, but your favorite shows, they're here on AfterBuzz. So join us next week, and then join the others.
Yes.
Bye.
Join us. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.